Good evening, everyone. I'd like to bring the regular council meeting for Wednesday, November 5th, 2025 to order. We respectfully acknowledge that the land on which we gather and work is on the unceded traditional territory of the Comox First Nation, the traditional keepers of this land. We have no introduction or approval of late items. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda, please? That's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on the agenda? All those in favor? Opposed? And that passes unanimously. Thank you. We have one delegation this evening, so I will welcome up Mike Atkins, the CEO of the Comox Valley Airport Commission, to talk to us about temporary parking at 1200 Military Row. It's nice to see you and thanks for coming. Red light means we can all hear. Thank you. Red light.
Somebody chose that color well. Good evening, Mayor Minions and members of council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight and for the ongoing support you've shown to the Comox Valley Airport over the years. My name is Mike Atkins. I'm the CEO at the airport. For those who don't know me, I'm also joined tonight by Ray Negaman, our project manager, and Russell Tibbles, who we've got on board to help navigate the Byzantine world of development approvals. I'm here this evening to talk about something fairly simple, but very important: parking. Specifically, a proposal for a temporary gravel parking lot at 1200 Military Row, a short-term solution that will help us manage growing demand as we work towards a permanent fix. As many of you know, YQQ is getting busier and busier. Passenger numbers are up, which is great news for the region. It shows how the airport continues to support local growth, tourism, and connectivity. But with success comes a challenge. We're running out of parking. Over the Thanksgiving weekend, we came within one vehicle of having to turn people away. And as we look ahead to the Christmas season, we're genuinely concerned we'll reach capacity. When that happens, cars start parking along Knight Road, and that raises real safety issues, especially in the dark or in rainy conditions, such as today, with passengers walking along the shoulder pulling luggage. I don't believe that's something any of us wants to see. Now, I want to stress that this isn't a long-term issue. We're already working on a permanent parking solution. The Airport Commission is in the process of purchasing the 1200 Military Row property, and our plan is to build a new permanent parking lot on the east side of that site. That's the area currently occupied by Vancouver Island Enterprises. The timeline looks like this. We expect about 12 to 16 months of approvals and pre-construction work, followed by construction in 2027. So while we're moving that forward, we need something to bridge the gap, something that's safe, simple, and temporary. And that's where this temporary parking project comes in. We're proposing to use about 4,000 square meters on the west side of the 1200 Military Row parcel. It would be surfaced with gravel, include clear signage, have portable lighting where needed for safety, and we'd also run a shuttle service between the lot and the airport terminal to make things easier for our travelers. We don't plan on doing any major grading or drainage changes. Existing runoff patterns will stay the same, and we'll also add a small stormwater feature, essentially a shallow rock pit, to responsibly manage any changes that do occur with the drainage. We understand that council's approval is required for this kind of a temporary use, and we appreciate your time in reviewing it. Our team has worked closely with the town staff to ensure that everything aligns with Comox's bylaws and development permit requirements as they currently exist. The temporary lot is well outside the 30-meter riparian buffer, and while the DPA 16 normally applies to long-term development, we've made sure that this project meets the town's post to pre stormwater management standards, so runoff impacts are effectively neutral. We're confident that the project is low risk, low impact, and meets all environmental and technical expectations. I do want to be clear, this is a temporary measure. Once the permanent lot on the east side is ready, the gravel area will no longer be used for parking. We'll follow all erosion and sediment control measures, maintain the site properly, And when the time comes, we'll return it to a stable condition or seek further development approvals. We're also prepared to indemnify the town against any potential stormwater impacts, although we don't expect any. At the heart of this request is safety, convenience, and community service. We want to make sure that the airport continues to operate smoothly and safely during peak travel periods while we invest in long-term improvements that will serve the region for years to come. The airport plays a vital role in the Comox Valley's economy and quality of life, and we're proud to work in partnership with the town to support that. So tonight, I'm asking for your approval to move forward with this temporary parking lot, a simple, responsible step that helps us manage growth safely and effectively while our permanent project takes shape. Thank you very much for your time and consideration, and I'm happy to to take any questions. We are happy to take any questions you may have.
Thanks, Mike, and to your team. I was going to say, please stick around for a moment for questions. From a timeline perspective, we typically would look at this the meeting after, which would put us 2 weeks out from from now. What is your timeline kind of for requiring this temporary use? Just so we're aware when we're discussing.
I think we want to be in a place to have contract tendered and the work done by early to mid-December. We're targeting the use of the temporary lot for the charter flights, the Puerto Vallarta charter flights over the Christmas period, starting about a week ahead of Christmas. That's where we think that that's our typical busy period for parking, and those are the flights that we think we can capture people that we know when they're leaving and when they're coming back. So that's kind of what we're targeting.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you. I'll just look for questions from around the table. We have Councillor Swift.
Thanks for your presentation. This is exciting news to think that something's going to happen with that property. I'm just wondering how many parking spaces you're anticipating getting in that temporary parking area.
The answer for that was 100 or so, just for those watching online.
Yeah, I've got the number for the permanent parking lot, not the temporary parking lot in my head.
Okay, that's for the temporary parking, correct?
Yeah, that's for the
100.
temporary. We're looking at about 350 for the permanent solution, which will meet at least the next few years of growth, and then we'll have to figure out where we go from there.
Okay, we have Councillor Hazlitt with a question.
Thanks, Mike. What does indemnifying the town look like?
A letter.
Just a letter from your insurer saying we're
A letter from us as the airport commission saying that, you know, should there be any increases in stormwater as a result of this project, and that the town incur any liability thereof, then we'll indemnify you, and that it's up to our insurance to cover that.
perfect. Thank you.
Just a question for staff. Is this as simple as a council letter of support for the temporary use? And I think we were looking at a specific time frame for that temporary use, just so we have the
So
assurance that it is a temporary use, in fact.
yeah, so in order to get the temporary use permit, the airport's going to need to satisfy the development permit conditions. And so we've had conversations that they're going to be working towards that starting now or soon. After that, a temporary use permit is a zoning decision, so it's not something that you can lend any weight to in your considerations now. We cannot issue a temporary use permit until the new zoning bylaws come in. We're targeting that for the December 5th meeting, but the airport and myself have been in conversations about how we can make this work with the timing. So I'm not too concerned about making sure this gets done, but the temporary use permit is a zoning decision of council, and you can't fetter that decision making now.
Okay, so just to be clear, this is not something that would be done until after the zoning
Correct.
bylaws come through December 5th.
Correct.
Okay, so there is time for this to come back in 2 weeks for staff questions and
Yep.
further consideration. Are there any other questions from council while we have Mike? Okay, thank you very much for coming as a delegation, and we will be looking at that later in the month.
Thank you, as always. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, and you're of course welcome to stay for the meeting or welcome to depart. Often people choose to depart. Always welcome. We are on page 9, adoption of the meeting minutes for October 22nd, 2025 for adoption.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on those minutes? All those in favor? Opposed? And that passes unanimously. Thank you. There are no council committee minutes and reports. So we are moving on to the consent agenda on page 19. If we can have a motion to receive 1 through 7
Moved.
and a seconder.
Second.
Moved and seconded. And all those in favor of receipt of consent agenda? Opposed? And that passes unanimously. Thank you. Are there any items 1 through 7 that council would like to take out? You guys all raised your hands at the same time. I'm going to go with Councillor Grant and then over to Councillor Swift.
I was just wondering if I could pull out number 1. And the reason I'm pulling this out is that I'm not sure what, have we dealt with this guy? Are we done dealing with him? And the other problem is the letter, when we black everything out, I don't know where he's talking about. So it would be nice to be able to drive by and see if he's actually got a problem or if.
So this is the letter from Mr.
Oh,
Adderton
okay.
with the weeds growing. I am going to forward. I feel like I've seen some emails about this, so I'll go over to
Yeah.
staff and see if they have a moment to comment.
Yeah, thank you. This was forwarded to the CVRD as part of the landscaping and boulevard restoration for the conveyance project. So the contractor will be coming back through and finalizing the landscaping throughout the entire conveyance project where it doesn't meet the design standards. So that
Okay,
has
is he
been
aware of
forwarded
that?
off.
Mr. Adderton?
I'm not sure, but I will follow up and see. And if not, I can send something on it or
Okay,
council.
thanks.
We've seen this a few times where people have had the impacts and they're waiting for the restoration to get done. And when they're not getting the answer they want from the CVRD, they're coming to us. But the reality is the CVRD's focused on getting the major construction portions done, and then they'll go back and do the landscaping once it's completed. So it might not be till spring, but we've assured people that the CVRD is aware of the need to do this.
I'm just recalling it wasn't this gentleman, it was some other people on the sewage conveyance line that were getting direct communication, but regardless, we send letters to these consent agenda items, so we'll make sure that that is sent to Mr. Adderton specifically. Thank you for bringing that one up. We have Councillor Swift.
That was my item. Thank you.
We have Councillor Haslett.
Number 7. Thank you. So this has got to do with the parking over on Miralette. I know the area when you come out past 695 Aspen and you keep moving into I guess the direction would be east. The road kind of comes into a bit of a bottleneck, and they've got a crosswalk right there. And then what's happening is they're getting people parking all along the side of the road. There probably isn't too much we can do with that, or can you put up no parking signs, or I know they've got no parking on one side of the road. So does that not really allow us to have no parking on this other side of the road?
Yeah, correct. There's no parking signs already on the north side of that street, so we allowed parking on the south side. Looking at it, it doesn't appear to be impacting the sight lines, and that's why we put the no parking on the inner side of that corner to make sure that the sight lines were clear. So on-street parking is a premium. There's no safety concerns at this point, but if council wishes no parking on that street, that'd be up to you.
Okay, thank you very much.
I believe, I'm just going to check, did Councillor Blacklock, did you have your hand up at that first initial? Okay, we have Councillor Mayer.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask staff about the process with the request for Remembrance Veterans Crosswalk, the proposal. Are they invited to submit a proposal using our new public art process, or what happens?
I'm
with
going to
that?
second that just so we can discuss
Oh,
it, because I was
sorry.
also, no, not at all, but second for discussion.
Thank you. The public art, this could be a public art proposal. The public art proposals, however, are not funded by the town. They're funded by the proponent. We have received this and are treating it like other traffic changes. And so as part of your budgetary process, probably at your next meeting, we're going to be bringing you a report on all of the changes that have been requested throughout the year. Based on another municipality who installed one of these, the cost appears to be about $10,000 per year.
Thank you. I just also wanted to briefly bring it up as we had a letter about a year ago from a member of the public bringing this up and saying they thought it would be a really nice addition to town, especially where the Legion is or somewhere in that area. We did, CAO Wall and I did bring it forward to the management at the Legion at the time as just an idea that we could continually talk about, and just based on some staff changes and things like that, I think it's now got lost, but it was being talked about online recently that that's something that the public seems to be really interested in. So just around the table, is that something we're still comfortable kind of discussing with the Legion and potentially through the art program of looking to do this in Comox as far as the veterans sidewalk? Does anyone have any concern with initial discussions happening with the Legion on this continued? A year ago, we all thought it was a good idea to bring up. Councillor Hazlitt?
I'm okay with conversations happening. I think it would be great if this was funded by somebody other than us, but that seems to be the way I am with most things, so.
Yeah, and so nothing would be decided just because there's some interest. We will make sure that the monetary 10,000 seems high. So I'm curious if that's what it potentially would be. Councillor Grant, then Councillor Swift.
Well, there's talk in that letter, I can't open it unfortunately, but of fundraising possibly. So, I mean, that may be an option for them too.
Could be a really good community project with maybe some council advocacy or addition to Councillor Swift.
Yeah, I love the look of it. My concern though is the cost and the ongoing maintenance of it, because I know when we looked at this another time with another group about changing a sidewalk, it was going to be significant. And when we look at some of the side or the crosswalks in Courtney, it doesn't take too long before they're looking a little tattered, and they have to be renewed every year. So I'm liking the look of it, but I'm concerned about the costs and the ongoing maintenance of it.
Good. So we have some fair questions as far as the ongoing costs, basically start and finish. So I think at the end of the day, if we mention it to the Comox Legion and there's no interest there from that group, then we would kind of leave it at that anyhow. So we'll just bring it up in a very initial conversation to see if there's interest from their leadership without saying that it's being funded, where it's being funded from at this time. Are there any other comments on number 5 for the crosswalk? And again, we'll just leave it at having some interim discussions with the Legion, which we started last year, but haven't really finalized anything. Are there any other items 1 through 7 that council would like to bring up? Okay, perfect. So we're moving on to unfinished business, but I'm just going to check with staff here. We have a delegation. Did you want us to move on to OCP now? Okay, so just a quick update. We have an in-camera session tonight and a delegation is only able to make it now at 5:30. So we are going to take a break for an in-camera delegation, which shouldn't take too long. We'll open town hall for anyone who wants to take the 15 or 20-minute break. We apologize about that. We're going to get into OCP official community plan bylaw update, but again, we probably will not be able to finalize it before we take an in-camera break in 10 minutes. So we have on page 35, the official community plan bylaw update. And the first item is that official community plan bylaw number 2054 be given first and second readings. Sorry, staff is having those broken down.
I think I'll look to Director Russrum. If council wants to make an amendment, does that come after first or second? I think it should come after first and then do second, correct?
They be passed together and then opened up for an amendment.
Then you'd have to amend second reading, wouldn't you? But we're not doing third today. Yeah, let's do first reading.
Can I just get clarity on that? Amendments can be made between second and third, but not after third. Okay, perfect. First.
Second first reading.
Lots of changes going on, so thanks for your patience. Okay, first reading has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on that? Just to be, okay, Councillor Mayer.
So just making sure I understand the process.
Yes.
If we wanted to suggest changes to the map, for example, this would be the time.
After first. So council should give first reading, and then
between-
after first reading is given, make amendments and then do your second reading.
Okay, thank you. That being said, if you're not in favor, then you would be voting in opposition at any point. Councillor Kerr, do you have a question?
Yeah, that was my question. Like if there's something you'd prefer changed before you vote on it, then you would vote against first reading? Is that the process?
I'm hesitate to tell council how to vote, but I'd suggest doing first reading to get it on the table to allow amendments to be made and then making your decision from there. If it's defeated at first reading, then you're gonna have to put a motion on the table for what changes to get it to an area where you like it. So either or works. But I'd suggest first reading gets it on the table, and then you can start your amendments from there and decide how you want to vote moving forward.
The second and third readings are more important. Okay, so the official community plan bylaw number 2054 be given first reading. Is there any questions or comments before we vote on first reading? All those in favor? Opposed? And that passes. So we are now going to do second reading, and again, we'll be taking a break in 5 minutes for clarity. That the official community plan bylaw number 2054 be given second reading. If I can get a motion and a seconder. Okay, that's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on that motion? Or amendments? I have an amendment to make on bylaw number 2054 after some discussion in the community and with staff. There would be some wording change added to policy 12.6 to Marina Comprehensive Development that would read, upon receipt of an OCP amendment application, we'd consider support for building more than 6 stories in height, whereas a hotel space is a significant component of the development, and 2, a privately owned and maintained public space is provided adjacent to the waterfront walkway on the south end of the designation. And just for clarity on, or I can speak to it if that's allowed as an amendment. We do need a seconder. Okay, so that's been moved and seconded. I did provide a copy around the table just because it's hard to go on the fly. This would basically allow for some flexibility for the marina to be able to do an OCP amendment in future, should there be a well-suited or well-fitted prospect for a hotel down there. It would still cue that public consultation would happen because it's an OCP amendment. So we basically have had some different policy wordings in 12.6. It started really strong, speaking about the 12 stories and that we wish to see a hotel down in the marina area, and the wording got completely taken out. And so this suggestion is basically to open up the discussion that if a hotel was to come forward, we would consider an OCP amendment. So I'll now have any questions around that amendment, or sorry, proposed amendment. Councillor Grant.
Yeah, just in looking at this, I mean, all we're really doing tonight is moving this along to the public hearing. And so if we put that in, then the public can have their say at that time. And if they vehemently hate it, then we have a decision to make at that time. But I think really what we're doing here is just moving this along. And if we want to add that and see what they say, then I'm good with that.
Yeah, I believe is the last opportunity to make any changes for the public meeting in 3 weeks. So it's basically, we've had 2 different versions of wordings, and this was somewhere in the middle of.
Yeah, just
With
on that,
that.
I would say to council, the version that you pass tonight should be a version that you would be comfortable adopting. Now, you're going to hear from the public and that may change your mind, but it should be a version that you're comfortable with adopting. Having said that, the proposed language from Mayor Minions would still require an OCP amendment to come through. All it is saying is that this is an area that you'd be willing to accept an OCP amendment in exchange, or you'd be willing to consider an OCP amendment if it had those other criteria in it, but the OCP amendment would trigger a full public consultation and you're not committed to anything.
Yeah, and just for dialogue, there was still ongoing conversations about what that could look like, and having no wording in there that was something that council had said that we would consider was not helpful for the potential opportunity of that being done, and parking and all those other things that we really want to see more of in the downtown core. Any other comments on the amendment? I don't want to rush it. So questions, Councillor Mayor?
Thanks. I'm just a little bit torn about it. Mostly because the feedback from the community has been pretty clear. So part of this says more than 6 stories in height, and I think even 6 stories, what we've heard from the community is even that is really difficult. So it's hard without having an actual proposal in front of us. I think I will vote for it so that we can hear from the community, but I'm on the fence on whether or not I would support it.
Thanks for those comments. Yeah, and the intent is to kind of encourage proposals to come forward, but we really wanted to make sure council would be able to see and the public would be able to see. So it's basically a softening of the language. Any other questions or comments on the amendment? So we're voting on the amendment. All those in favor? Opposed? And the amendment is passed. So we're now going to be voting on second reading as amended. So that's by community plan bylaw number 2054 be confirmed as being consistent with the sorry, that's not right. We're now doing second reading that the official community plan bylaw number 2054 be given as amended. All those, or sorry, I need a mover and a seconder, and then we'll open it up for discussion. My apologies.
Second.
Council, you have the second reading on the floor. You've just passed an amendment, so you can pass the OCP amending the OCP plan bylaw second reading as amended. Although it did look like other councillors may have more
Yeah,
discussion.
I wasn't meaning to push that through.
Perhaps before getting into the other discussion, this would be a time to break to go in camera.
Probably, since we probably won't be able to have this discussion in 2 minutes. So apologies to the public here and online. We are going to break for an in-camera session based on some scheduling. And so you're welcome to stay. Is it Town Hall or D'Astaire that will be opened?
Town Hall.
So Town Hall will be open,
Town Hall.
and we expect we might be approximately 15 or 20 minutes for this delegation that's
And so
coming.
council, you need to pass the motion that the public, you have it?
I'll move
Yeah.
that we go into
Under section 1.